always want to hear with you.
So what? You're just gonna ignore everything else? You could be anything, anywhere. Might not go somewhere where your daughter is more than just this. Here, all we get are a few specks of time where any of this actually makes any sense.
Then I will cherish these few specks of time.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Abraham
and Nick.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good.
First off, welcome back.
Hi.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. It was a long day. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I got stuck at work.
Grinding.
And yeah, I'm good.
Getting the bread.
Gotta get that bread.
Getting the bread, making the bread.
I was making that bread. That day I was making bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was getting ready for Thanksgiving.
Well,
Nice.
what a week to come back to. We went from a pretty eclectic movie to now.
I know.
I would say this movie's even more eclectic.
Would you?
Maybe.
I would say this is like a way more accessible movie.
Oh, for sure.
It's an accessible movie, but I listened to the pod, and Blue Velvet sounds less intense than this one.
You think?
I think so. So
Yeah.
I think this movie.
I suggest you check it out then.
I still got it. I think I want to.
You probably
But
should.
I think this movie sounds a bit more wild. I mean, I watched this one, and it's just wild. But from listening to that one, I still think this one's wild.
I don't know. This one has. I don't want to say traditional because it's not. I mean, it kind of breaks all kinds of storytelling tradition stuff.
Oh yeah, it breaks every genre barrier too.
Right, it
this
does.
movie is a romance, sci-fi, thriller, horror, comedy, drama,
Everything.
like,
Literally-
action film. Like it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah. That's probably why they chose the title.
Yeah.
But I would think I would recommend this to literally everybody. In fact, I'm going to do that. Watch this dang movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would do that with Blue Velvet.
Yeah. I could see that. Blue Velvet's a very select audience.
Yes, it is. So, I don't know. So, with that being said, we're talking about everything, everywhere, all at once. Doing more research, I realized they're called Daniels, not the Daniels.
Yes.
Literally just
A
Daniels.
film by Daniels.
Daniels. So I think I said the Daniels and
Yeah.
probably offended someone out there. So
It's a two-person team.
Right,
It's
it is.
Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert,
yes,
and they're the writers and directors of the film.
yes, and it came out. I'm looking here, 2022.
Yeah,
This
this
year?
year.
Literally this year,
This is our most
A24.
recent film, I think.
I don't know if it's their most recent.
No, our most recent film.
Oh, for A24?
Oh,
No, in general.
Or
on
just
the
this
pod.
year.
On
Yeah.
this pod.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, rated R. It was not streaming anywhere,
No.
so you had to rent this one.
I did.
You rented it?
Dude, you
Bro,
know what I
had it
did?
physically.
Yeah.
I literally got home from work today and just went straight to watch the movie.
Oh, okay.
But I literally just got a subscription to Showtime. Call me out if you want, and then I canceled the subscription.
Hey, play the systems, man. If it benefits
I still have
you.
access to it until December 4th, so I might use it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's on Showtime.
It's on Showtime, but you have to obviously you have to have a subscription for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
that's good to know. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I freaking love it. It's from A24. I think it's one of my favorite A24 films to
Ever?
date. Yeah, to date. I think nothing really surpasses it.
Yeah.
Stuff gets close, like Lighthouse gets really close. But this just brings so much more to the table that I think it's one of my. I would say it's one of my favorite A24 films, and I think it's just one of my favorite films in general.
Wow.
Like at least in the top 5.
Okay.
I don't know I don't know. Like, I don't want to sound too overhyped and too like, because all the reviews you watch is like everyone's hyping praising it.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of weird to also praise it too, but it's like
There's nothing
it
else
literally
more you can
deserves
do.
it.
Yeah.
I finished the movie and I thought to myself, wow, this world would be a better place if everybody watched this movie. Like,
Yeah.
it would be better if people watch this movie. We'd have a better society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like that meme where it's the meme template with the utopia, and it's like if everybody that drove in the right lane would just stay in the right lane.
Right.
And
Oh,
Or
bro,
like
that
if
immediately what that-
everyone could pronounce Chipotle.
Dude, that's what I was thinking of. Yes.
It's so true. Tell me it's not true.
I think that also with The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Oh.
That's one of those movies for me where I left it and I was like, everyone needs to see this movie. It has such a great message and so much meaning behind it.
Right.
I think I could argue that for this film as well. Man. Because I feel like Evelyn sometimes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have been in Evelyn's shoes. I've been in Joy's shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And like seeing something so tangible or feels so tangible on screen where I'm like, I have felt everything this person has felt. And I'm almost like nothing like them.
Mm-mm.
Like it's so weird that we all share this strange human experience. Like, and that everyone kind of goes through the same thing but doesn't ever say that they do.
Nope.
And to see that on screen portrayed in such a very visceral way
Mm-hmm.
was not only emotionally like gut punching, but also like the film is an assault on every sense. Like and I loved it. Like,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things I loved about Uncut Gems
Mm-hmm.
was like it's an assault on the senses, but it's something where you're just like, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm like, give me more, dude. Like I'm ready to just take all that you have to throw at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that way with this film. I also like I want to preface this by asking, what's your experience with the movie? Because in my experience, I remember seeing the trailer for this a lot on YouTube. And watching the trailer, I was not immediately intrigued.
Really?
Yes,
No.
I guess you were saying because on my YouTube it'd show up a lot.
And I would see it a lot, and I'd be like, I'm gonna sound dumb here, but I would see it and be like, I think that's a movie I could go without and not watch,
What?
based off the trailer.
Oh, man.
And after I had heard you gush about the film and how good it was, and I saw how much hype everyone was talking about it and everything, I went to Walmart one day, randomly picking up stuff for errands, running errands, all that stuff. And I always go by the movie section in every store I go to. And I went and I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once was out physically. And the 4K Blu-ray digital combo was cheaper than like just the regular DVD. And I was like, oh, dude, like I'll pick it up. It's $10. That's perfect. It's a brand new movie. Nick has talked a lot about it. I'll check it out. And when I finally picked it up and I watched it that night, when I tell you I cried twice and turned that movie off and was just like, that is a 10 out of 10. I couldn't believe it, dude.
Yeah.
I found myself kicking myself in the butt because I was like, I thought this movie was going to be so uninteresting. Like I had no interest in seeing it at first. And then once I turned it on, I couldn't look away. And I found myself so intrigued by all the characters and loving each and every person that's brought up in the film and sympathizing with everyone. Like it's insane.
Okay. What about you? Did you said you weren't interested at all?
I wasn't interested at all, and no offense to you guys, but it was my coworker who actually told me to watch this a lot. She always asked me what movies, like she just works up front with me, and she was asking me, what movie are we doing this week? And then she always tells me, you gotta watch this movie. You gotta watch this movie. And then I think I finally told her like 2 weeks ago we were doing this. She said, good, tell me how you think about it. Like text me, and then I never texted her about it. I'll probably talk to her about it tomorrow. But I didn't think I was gonna like it because it looks. Again, you guys are gonna laugh at me. I thought it looked stupid. With the way that it showed the trailer, the trailer can do no justice for this movie.
Really? I gotta watch the trailer. I totally skipped it.
I think it just looks dumb.
I might have seen it, but my first experience with this movie was just all of the reviewers, like Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns, literally all of the people were like, "Stop what you're doing right now
And go watch
and
this.
go watch this." And I had also heard there's a couple people who are like, these are the types of movies that need to be funded. Go to the theaters. And I kick myself in the butt
Me too.
for not going, because I think a theater experience for this would have been incredible.
I that's one of the things where I found myself kicking myself, because I was like, I think about our experience with Parasite, and I wish I could have gotten to see this in the theaters.
Yeah.
And you want to know something? Actually, this movie's getting re-released
When?
at the Maya on Thursday at 7. I was looking. They're re-releasing it for one showtime on Thursday at 7.
Gosh, why do you think they're doing that?
I have no idea. But
Bruh.
I saw it and I was like,
How much are tickets?
I just watched it, but I would I would be so down to go watch it
I
again.
have to work on
to
Thursday.
have that theater experience amongst people who already loved the film too. Like, that's the way it was with Parasite. When we watched Parasite, it was a re-release because of the Oscar run that it was going on.
And
we watched it amongst all the people who have already seen the film or were excited to watch it because of its Oscar noms. And it was that theater was packed with laughter and suspense and crying. Like it was awesome.
It was awesome.
I really do wish I could have gotten a theater experience with this one as well.
The only other theater experience I could think of would be maybe like one of the Avenger
Endgame
or Infinite War, where everyone just like,
was like
Endgame was
a
crazy.
cultural event. Like
it was the culmination of 21 movies.
Yeah.
So people were absolutely hyped.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think of all the funny moments in here, and I think of how the crowd would just be like, whoa! Like it'd just like be assaulted, but loving every minute of it. Like I would have loved to experience that when the film was coming out.
Yeah.
And I probably would have been like a freaking speakerhead for this movie. I would have been like, everybody I saw after watching, I'd be like, dude, you gotta go watch it. It's in theaters. It needs to get funded. It needs this. You gotta go. You'll not regret this.
Yeah, and that's what I had saw was that this movie actually had a smaller release.
Yeah,
and it didn't get the love that it deserved at the beginning of its run in theaters or in local theaters. It was not widespread like it is now, and it wasn't until people. Like you're explaining, really got behind the film and started saying this is something that needs to be praised.
Word of mouth stuff.
It really does, excel at its storytelling, and it's just a great film in general. This is something you need to check out. You need to watch it, and it's through that word of mouth that this became one of A24's highest grossing films ever, beating out Uncut Gems. So
I think it's definitely deserving of that position and all the money that it got. I mean, like. There's nothing more I could say other than I freaking love this movie.
Yeah.
Love it. So we'll get started with, what's this movie about? It's about people. That's it. Full stop.
It's about a lady doing her taxes.
It literally, that's it. Like, you think it'd be boring, but this movie's anything but. It's about a Chinese immigrant family who run a laundromat, and they're kind of, really crumbling. The family is crumbling. The wife has a really strained marriage with her husband, and her daughter, they have a strained relationship too, because she's trying to fit in to these really traditional standards that she doesn't fit into, because her father is coming and he's not going to be approving of her relationship. So they're all really, really strained, and above all, they're getting audited. They have to go and do taxes, and they're with a tax person who's got like the awards for best auditor of the year for several years. So she's really on top of her game. And that's how it starts. And it becomes so much more. It becomes a movie where, she gets dragged away and she's talking about these multi-universes that are being destroyed by a super evil person called
Jobu
Tupaki. That we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know her mission or we don't know its mission or whatever it is, right? And it's Joy, or it's Evelyn's job to save the multiverse.
Yes.
And it goes kind of really outlandish, but it's also stays close to the heart.
Yep.
It's got so much relationships, and we stay with the same family, and we experience everything everywhere all at once.
Yep.
And without getting into too much spoilers, that's pretty much what the movie's about.
Yeah. whenever I watched this movie a second time, it reminded me a little bit of The Matrix.
Yes, for sure it does.
I have a fact about
And
the
I
Matrix.
and
in
I
this.
felt like it probably gleaned some influence or some inspiration from The Matrix.
It does.
But yeah, if you find yourself loving those types of films where it's like there's a whole different world than what you're being presented, like all that type of stuff, you'll love this movie. If you love a great coming of age film,
Yep.
you'll love this movie. If you love a great action film, you'll love this movie. If you love a great comedy, guess what? You'll love this movie. If you love a good drama, you'll love this movie. Like it has everything, and it kind of almost feels like that same thing where Parasite cannot really be genre bound.
Yeah.
Like it's got literally everything you could want out of a film, and it does it so well. And that's one of the things that I love about this film. So I guess without further ado, let's dive into it.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers are heavy ahead. So
We're talking about the whole movie coming
Yeah.
up. So pause it, watch it.
yeah,
Seriously, watch this.
Yeah.
And then come back and listen to what we have to say. Favorite scene, we'll start now. My favorite, obviously,
the intro.
the intro. And we both had this same issue. It's funny because how I lay this out, I have them in chronological order of what my favorite scenes are as I'm watching the film.
Yeah.
And my first scene, I literally typed like a block. And I thought to myself, I was like, holy crap, I'm writing so much about this scene, and we're already like 20 minutes in, and I'm still on scene 1 typing about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't type this much
Yeah.
because I'm going to lose out on, like, I'm not going to
On
be
the
present in the movie. So my first scene is like this big, and my rest are all tiny because I was like, I can't spend enough time.
Yeah.
The introduction, I think, is absolutely incredible. We get introduced to just the chaos, literal chaos of the life that these people,
The Wong family.
the Wong family. Oh my gosh, they're running a laundromat, and is their house like right on top of it?
Yeah, I
they live
believe
above
so.
it.
And they've got like laundry everywhere. They've got people all over. The Evelyn is like so frantic trying to get the party for tonight set up, trying to get all our customers dealt with, trying to go upstairs and make food for the people that are coming. And then you get to see like all of this chaos, but each character will come out and shine in their own distinct ways. Like Joy, immediately from the get-go, is not joyful.
Yeah.
She's immediately like
disheveled and dejected.
right.
Yeah.
She's sadness from
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the mom, you get to see the mom as being like this, not very present either, and just going through the motions of like this, pretty much like all of her decisions led to a kind of a crap life, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you get to see the dad. You get to see him,
Wayman.
being so like joy-filled and putting googly eyes everywhere and just trying to uplift everyone's spirits. And he's like the backbone, trying to hold everyone together.
Yeah.
And yet you still get this weird tension because he's holding these papers the whole time. And we don't know, well, on the second watch, you think it's really rewarding because you see him and you're like, ever since the beginning of the film, he's trying to like give these to her and like trying to explain it, but he never can because their life is so chaotic. And I don't know, I just loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I loved even just the beginning of the film, that shot of them through the mirror.
Oh, and like all
doing the karaoke and stuff and everything
happy.
And laughing and being happy. It's like, oh, this is a loving family. They're singing with one another, having fun, and we're getting a glimpse into that through this mirror. And then the shot changes and it kind of like the camera like almost like dives into the mirror, and then we get this shot of just all this paperwork on this table and these people just going left and right across the screen, all this chaos that's ensuing, and then everything that's going on downstairs. Washing machines are breaking. People are saying their bills have been eaten by the coin machine and that they need a refund. And, all this the while she's trying to plan a party for her dad and trying to cook noodles, and he hates overcooked noodles. And like there's just so much that's going on, and you can't immediately help. I just immediately feel bad for Evelyn, and I'm just like, everything is falling on her, and she's the one that's having to do all this stuff. Like on a first watch, I was like, Waymond is, he's a great guy. He's making everything happy and trying to be fun and be, polite to everybody. But
that's not what they need.
It's not what's needed right now. Evelyn is the one that's having to cook the noodles, prepare stuff for her dad, make sure her dad's taken care of, make sure he gets up on time, go downstairs, paint the wall tile the right color,
and it's not the right
it's not the right color when it gets painted. Get this guy his change because the thing ate his money, and then yell at a customer because he put his shoes in the washing machine and it might break it, and then like look for this person's lost laundry that for somehow got put up in our house, and now I got to go back up there, get it, and then come back down.
It's just all around chaos, and I really like the scene too because it's subtle the way that they show her inner turmoil, because she'll go and as she's trying to deal with all the stuff, she'll look at the TV and it's this couple in beautiful outfits dancing and loving on each other, and she's like sitting there watching it, and in the background freaking Wayman and a customer are doing that same dance, and she's enthralled with the film, like this is what I could have had, or this is where I want my life to be. And right behind her is how it is actually, and you see that she's not happy with it. She's like just all around stressed. And you get little scenes like that are showing this like hard life that she's been through, and we don't really know why it's showing us all of this, like why her life is so trash, until freaking Alpha Wayman comes. And that's one of my favorite scenes in this, when they're talking over in their house, and you see this like CR or the CT cameras, and he goes downstairs and he's talking to one of the guys that it kind of is slowly panning onto one of the cameras, and you see him like
just jumping, bro.
And get like, oh, it looks like he got possessed. And you're like,
what? Starts doing all this parkour.
You're like, what the heck happened? So you don't really know what's going on, but it's setting you up these ideas of like, something's weird here. What's going on? And I just loved it.
My next one after the whole laundromat thing is I found myself just loving everything that took place in the building. I just put the IRS. So at this point in the film, they have to go to the IRS to do their taxes, and because they own a laundromat, they have to, and they're being audited, they have to present all of their expenses and all this stuff, or stuff that they're going to claim as expenses. And it's something that's real stressful for businesses, because it could either make or break you. And I love getting introduced to the multiverse. And when I first watched this movie, and it shows us that scene of that older couple kind of going in, and they're they're with one another, and she's kind of like holding him and kissing him and sending him to the bathroom, and you see a shot of Waymond holding the divorce papers. We come to find out, looking at that, and kind of he getting showing that shot of him where he's just kind of like,
I want that.
I want that. The same way Evelyn longs for that on the movie screen. I long for this. This is something that I want, and I'm not getting it. And that, on the first watch, brought tears to my eyes. And this is within 20 minutes of the film. And, they go to this elevator, and they kind of get in here, and Waymond is like such a goofy character. And he's like, come on, Papa, we get in here, and you got to turn around. Make sure you put your feet in. Like, and he's
got a higher pitched voice. He's just all around like silly and goofy.
And they get in there, and then all of a sudden, they start to go to the 10th floor, and then all of a sudden we see the same thing happen to Waymond, where he kind of just goes and takes his glasses off, and he says, Evelyn, we don't have much time.
He puts that
and he puts the umbrella to cover the camera and all this stuff, and we immediately get the feeling that this is a totally different guy.
Totally different.
Like, he takes his glasses off. He's quick when he speaks. He's concise. He knows what he wants, and like is like unraveling all this stuff. And Evelyn's just kind of like, "What the heck is going on? I have no clue." And he's like, "Put these in, and I'm gonna show you."
Scanning her brain.
Yeah, and it like does a whole brain scan, and then it plays this whole like introduction between Evelyn's life path.
Yeah, it literally like her life flashes before her eyes.
Yeah, and she's able to see like when she was born, when she was a kid, certain things that took her to into the life path that she's in, and it kind of follows along with like this like tree, right? Where you kind of think of like a family tree, right?
Of like choices.
Yeah, where like
go up.
One choice makes you go up or go down, and then from there you go up or you go down, and there and so forth, so on and so forth. And we watch Evelyn's whole life flash before her eyes, and it's so short, but it's also incredibly informative.
Yes.
And so interesting.
It
like
is.
it shows you these little slices of her life that are formative for her, like choosing to go with Waymond to America and living in this danky little apartment and owning a laundromat and seeing Waymond be all excited about it.
Yeah. Or even like having their daughter.
Yeah. Like raising Joy
Yeah.
and going through teen angst and all this stuff. And like, it's incredible. And then, when she finally snaps out of it, they kind of, Evelyn has this like out of body experience.
Yeah, she's like,
and she's kind of just like, what the heck did I just experience? What happened?
mm-hmm.
And this is kind of where it reminds me of the Matrix, right? Where Neo in the Matrix kind of experiences what's going on through a dream, and then he gets the chance to either take the red pill or the blue pill.
Right.
Evelyn gets put in the same situation.
You can either go left or go right.
You can either go left into the janitor's closet and find out what's happening in the multiverse and find out how you can help, or you can go right and do your taxes.
Yeah.
And she ultimately decides to go right and do the taxes. And before she does, Alpha Waymond hands her the papers, which are the divorce papers, but on the back, these are her jumping pads.
Yeah.
We come to find out.
Yeah.
And it's something that, is strange for the person that they would never really do. But it's just strange enough where in an alternate universe, you would be able to like tap in to whatever that alternate life path's skill is, and then utilize that skill in your current universe.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do this, she has to put her shoes on the wrong feet and like really think hard about being in the janitor's closet.
Yeah.
And then like hit the green buttons on your earpieces when you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And, while she's going through her taxes, I think you pronounce her name Deirdre.
I don't know. I thought it was
Deidre
or Deirdre.
Maybe.
I mean, it
Deidre?
could be both. It could be none.
It's a hard name to pronounce.
Yeah.
But regardless, Jamie Lee Curtis plays the auditor.
Yeah.
And she's going through the taxes with them and can kind of tell that Evelyn's not present. And she's like, hello, Evelyn, do you understand what's going on? Like, this is important. You need to be here for this. You need to understand. You cannot write a karaoke machine off as a tax expense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, well, like, it's her dream. Or Waymond interjects and says, like, it's her dream. It's her dream to be a singer.
Right.
And she's like, well,
go ahead and sing a song for her.
Yeah.
She's like, shut up.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, it could be your dream, but you can't write it off as a work expense, because if that's the case, then, you wanting to be a singer, novelist, actor, writer, producer, like all these things that she wants to do with her life that she doesn't get to do, she's trying to like write off as work, aren't happening for her. And she's like, you don't get to do this. All this stuff, it doesn't make sense. At the most, like, I have to charge you with like gross negligence and fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're looking at some jail time possibly if this does happen.
Yeah.
And she starts to kind of feel like maybe this is a little bit too much for her, and starts to kind of go through with putting her shoes on the wrong feet.
Which I love, because I didn't think she looks at it, and I thought she was going to notice that they were divorce papers.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought she was going to freak out. Because I was like, there's no way she's going to be in this office not trying to fidget, because I know when I'm in certain scenarios where like it's stressful, I have to look around to distract myself. Yeah. And that's what I thought she was doing, even though she knew somewhat about the alternate universe. But then when she opens the papers, I was like, bro, she's going to realize those are divorce papers, and then she's going to freak out in front of this lady. Yeah. And it's just going to be even more of a mess than it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally it shows that she's doing what she was told by.
Yeah. And we finally get introduced to her going into the multiverse for the first time. Mm-hmm. And that's where we get...
She goes...
Yeah, flies into the janitor's closet.
It, dude. It looks so sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, it fractures, and you see a bunch of her, and she says... what's going on, or something like that. Yeah. And she's just in like, you can see the universes, the multi-universes that are there. And like, I love how she is on autopilot, and then she gets like distracted, and she's in like two universes at the same time. Yeah. Not really being able to pay attention to one. And Waymond, we now know as Alpha Waymond, is there saying, this is the most important thing of your life. You have to be present here, because if you're not, like, this, there's nothing else more important than what I'm telling you now. You have to listen. Yeah. And you really feel that, because he's talking about freaking like this ultimate chaos. Yes. Throughout the multiverse that is like killing people, trying to find Evelyn. Yeah. And we really are like, okay, how do you solve this? Yeah. Which I think is great. I love this scene too. I love the scene where they are escaping, or they're so it's gonna be hard to explain. They are in this universe and they end up getting found out by they're like pretty much like a cult.
Yeah.
People who follow along with Jobu Tupaki
and the bagel.
and they've got the black circle on their foreheads.
Yeah.
Well, they end up getting found out in this janitor's closet, and he gets killed, and she gets smacked in the head. But it was just a burner universe, so she comes back to what we think is whatever
the regular universe.
I don't even know if it's like a prime. Or it's kind of weird to think of the universe we started as like just a meaningless, didn't really matter universe.
Yeah.
Just super weird.
Yeah.
But they get there, and she's pretty much not understanding what's going on because she sees that the person who just killed her is sitting right across from her doing their taxes.
Yeah.
So she's like, is this the person that just killed me? So she gets up and screams, and everyone's like, what the heck? And they ended up getting an extension on their taxes. They're going to have to come back at 6.
Yeah, which is a bro moment for me.
It for sure is, because
that's a lot of paperwork to get before 6.
Yeah.
It is.
It just blew my mind that they were like, no, we need to figure this out today. And then she gives them grace and is like, you need to give me everything back by 6. Go get your affairs in order and bring it back by 6.
Yeah, because of what Wayman says we don't get to see.
Yeah.
But he also gives her cookies too and all that. So, and it's where they bring that plot device in, or that tension device of the divorce papers, because she doesn't know when Alpha Wayman is there and when it's just regular Wayman.
Yeah.
So she's like trying to see if it's him or not, and she's all frantic, and he thinks it's because of the divorce papers, and he even points it out like, I know why
it's because of these, right?
And he's looking at one side as the divorce papers, and she's looking at the other side, which is the directions that he left. So it's like he's right, but not in the way that she's seeing.
He wants to be right, yeah.
So he's like, yeah, we're going to get divorced. And she's like, you're Alpha. Like, you know. And I like that tension because it's, we have information that the characters do not, and we're like, no, like you're there, but you're not there. You know, you're like a hair away.
Yeah.
And then we get to see freaking Deidre walking towards them, and she's kind of, I think she's like got some gas or something.
Yeah, she's hustling.
she's like
doing something,
waddling her way over there, and immediately she's like, oh crap, I'm not ready to fight. And then
and even in the previous universe, she just saw this person attacked her,
right?
Killed her.
and
so Wayman also says, you got to be ready to fight.
Yeah.
Like, so whenever something happens, you got to go.
Yeah, she's sitting there like, I'm not ready, and she goes,
boom,
right in her face.
Yeah.
And of course it's not it's just a regular freaking Deidre. So she's like, you just punched me in the face. What's your problem?
Assaulting an IRS agent. You were like,
having so much fun with it.
Yeah.
And the security people come, and I don't know. Do you guys love this scene?
I
like
do.
The first
Alpha Wayman fight.
Dude, Alpha Wayman
so
is
good.
I love it. The freaking fanny pack going, like, I freaking
pops
love
off.
it. It's awesome.
It's so cool. I love that he reaches over and gets the fish
The
rocks, puts them in there.
Yeah.
So good. This is the scene where you get like the interesting camera work and the interesting freaking choreography of him, like
dude, the shot where the camera goes and follows the bag.
Right.
I saw that and I was like, I love that. Yeah. Like, I gotta rewind that just to watch that camera go and follow the bag and then hit the guy in the face.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Yeah, the choreography here is sick too.
Yes.
Where he's straight up like doing these nunchuck type things with his fanny pack, smacking people in the face, and you get to see all like the dust fly off, kind of like that Matrix scene where he flexes the dust on him.
Yeah.
It's just so cool, and I love how they started it with like this very silly, goofy Wayman character you wouldn't think anything of, and now he's like this bad guy who's being able to hold off all these security guards.
Yeah. He turns into like a Jet Li character.
Yeah.
Bro,
seriously.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I also love after this whole debacle happens, whenever they jump to the universe where Bagel Deidre is trying to actually kill Evelyn.
Right.
And she's trying to verse jump
for
the first time.
Yes.
And he's like, in order to like get to the universe where like kung fu, you need to like tell her that you love her.
You gotta profess your
and you gotta profess your love
she's
to Deirdre and really mean it.
Yeah.
You can't just say it. Like if the thing detects that you don't truly mean
You're not jumping.
you love that I love you, it's not gonna work. And so she's trying it the whole time, and like she finds her in one instance, and she's like, "I love you," and then tries to do it, and then like she like gets jumped to a universe where I forget the first one.
There's so many that they go through. I think it might be.
It's not the hot dog finger
It's
one.
not the hot dog.
But it's obviously one that's not going to be helpful for her right now. And then she is running around going through all this stuff, and eventually Alpha Waymond and Evelyn get separated, and it starts to put doubt into Alpha Waymond, and he starts thinking like, okay, obviously this Evelyn is not the one. I thought she was going to be the one, but it's not her. We need to look for another one in another universe. And they're separated by this big filing cabinet. And then Alpha Waymond leaves, and Evelyn's trying to get him back because she thinks he's still there. And then regular Waymond is like...
He pops up?
Yeah, he pops up and he says, Evelyn, what are you doing over there? This thing is heavy. Dude, it's so funny. And
you can immediately tell a difference between the Waymonds.
You can tell a difference between the Waymonds 100%.
Yeah, and that's such great acting from Ke-Huy Quan. Like, he is a phenomenal actor in this. I love his character in this entire film. He's just great. But then I love the scene where Evelyn verse jumps for the first time on her own. And she, it's right whenever Deirdre's like coming down with coming she's down the stairs.
It's all slow-mo.
She's about to freaking take her out. And she genuinely professes her loves and says, I love you. And then, and I love the freaking Claire de Lune. Yeah. Dude, comes in and you immediately like it's slow mo. Her knees right about here,
right, like literally touching her nose.
You immediately see her kind of move her head and shift her knee away, and it goes, boom, bing,
yeah,
boom, 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 and like starts doing all these moves. I started getting choked up.
I did too.
At this moment, I was just like, "This is so sick!" Like I can't believe this is so tight. I
thought it was wild because I thought I heard Claire de Lune before it announced it. Cause I have subtitles on. Before it announced it, because it says Claire de Lune starts playing, and I thought I heard it earlier on when she was trying to jump, and I was like, "Bro, is that Claire de Lune?" And then I didn't hear it, and then like when she finally jumped by herself, you hear it, and it says it, and I said, "Bro, I was right." Like once she finally did it, it just played louder, and I was like, "Bro, I love this. This is insane."
Or like it's even funny thinking about the use of that song in the movie, and like how when in the hot dog universe
they're playing
it's like played like trash, but it's only because people can't use their fingers.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love this scene. I got teary eyed here just seeing the passion on display with like how they decided to show this, because as she's professing her love, it's like it's showing a different life path where she didn't go with Waymond, and then she went down an alleyway and got jumped, but got saved by this one person, and they trained all her life to become this kung fu master, and then went on to become a
kung fu movie star.
Yeah, kung fu movie star. And then you get to see her use that to block her and then push her down the stairs, and Waymond's like, "What'd you do?"
Yeah.
Like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
I just think it was such a brilliant way to show it.
Yeah, and it's also insane because I think after their whole fight there, she even like at the end of it, he's like, "How'd you do that?" And she was like, she says something to the effect of, "I saw my whole life without you, and it was beautiful,"
which hurt me.
That did.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a jab at him. I felt sad for him.
Yeah, it was rough. But it also like goes to show you like I'm a daydreamer at heart. So I understand where Evelyn's coming from. If I got a glimpse into my life where like had I made one different choice, and I ended up being like this insanely wealthy person who, has no worries in the world and all this stuff and everything, like I could feel for Evelyn and be like, man, I wish I had that too. Like,
I feel like we've all had that point.
I think everyone has been through it, and I think that's something that's so beautifully written about Evelyn's character is that I feel like everyone can identify with her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's just the fact that she's able to tell her husband, "I saw my life without you, and it was great." Like, that's rough. That's hard. Yeah. And that's... Yeah.
I feel like that's something you don't ever want to hear.
No, not at all. And but that's the thing too, is like obviously all that glitters isn't gold in this situation, right? on the surface value in this universe, she believes that everything is great, but when everything really comes down to it, her life sucks at the end. She has no love life. The one person that truly does love her is off doing better things by himself as well. So guess what? He's just as better off without you as you are without him.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it makes you both feel like crap in the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And yeah, it's just one of those things where it kind of shows you like, hey, you know, the grass may look like it's greener on this side, but appreciate is it better? You need to maybe appreciate what you have, you know? But yeah.
Don't know what you have till it's gone, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Dang, I heard someone say that the other day too.
I think it's a song too. Don't know what you got
Till it's gone.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Do you? You haven't talked about a scene. Do you have any?
My next favorite scene, we talked about most of mine, is the pinky when she finally gets to use the power of the pinky.
Oh wow, that's quite a bit of ways in.
I want to put my absolute favorite.
Oh, okay, that one was funny when she like flexed.
Yeah,
you see the pinky price.
Like, if you have stuff before, go.
I have the
right
scene
ahead.
where Jobu Tupaki finally shows up in the elevator.
Yeah.
I love this scene so much. Well, first off, there's that scene where she's like, does that number?
Yeah, she goes,
It's so cool how she like, you get to see how she's like an omnipotent being almost.
Yeah.
She gets to go and do whatever she wants.
She's the person that can be everywhere, everything, all at once.
Right.
She is the one person that had their clay pot
Yes.
break, and she's now able to experience everything, everywhere,
all at
Yeah,
once.
all at once.
All at once.
Yeah.
And she comes up the elevator and she almost looks familiar. I mean, it's we get to find out that it's Joy. It's her daughter.
Yes.
And first off, that's a big freaking bro moment because
Yes.
Joy, how is Joy this like evil spirit or
Yeah.
evil entity moving around universes? And she gets up there and there's like security guards that are trying to stop her, and they're telling her like, "Oh, miss, you can't come in here." And she's like, "Is it?" And she starts going on this like trip of like,
Yeah, she's like, I can physically be here, but you won't allow me here.
Right.
Yeah.
again with that can't word. And
Yeah.
just I don't know, the way that she takes him out is so creative,
Bro,
freaking
dude,
love it.
the
Yeah.
one that was more insane for me is when she turned into a luchador
And freaking crack that
and
dude.
cracked that dude's neck. I said, "What in the world is this?"
Yeah.
There was that scene where she like makes that dude like blow up into confetti.
Yeah.
She gets shot, but it's just
Ketchup, and it's organic.
She's all, it's organic. and like I was like, what the heck is going on?
yeah. And the whole time she's like changing outfits on the fly. She makes that guy into like this like a samba dancer or salsa.
Yeah,
has
something
like this
like that.
fruit on his head.
Yeah.
And he gets shot, and it's just like, and then she goes in like is beating that dude up
with
with
the freaking long old dude.
toys?
Double-sided,
When I
dude.
saw that for the first time, I saw how long it was, and she was just going, just smacking him. I was like, what the heck is this movie, dude? Like it's wild.
it's able to bring in like this very, very tense situation and yet undercut it with comedy.
Yes.
That I think fits so well.
Yes.
Because it's so absurd. And
Yeah,
you're kind
and-
of just like,
and that's
you would
the-
never thought of it.
no.
Exactly, and that's the essence of the multiverse.
It
like,
has to be.
Literally anything goes in a multiverse film. Like anything, your wildest imagination
Anything.
can go, and it makes sense because of it being in a multiverse film.
There's a universe out there that has anything you're thinking of.
Yes.
Literally there's anything.
Yes.
It's unlimited.
Yeah, and that's when we get introduced. This whole scene, we get introduced to the hot dog finger universe.
Oh, yes. Because she goes to fight.
Yeah, she goes to fight, and she's like, trying to hit her, and
The
you know,
hot dog
pretty-
fingers make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's like, what just happened? And he's like, I think she created a new universe where there's a rift in the evolutionary path, and
Did you?
the people who did it, the people who evolved, had hot dog fingers.
Yeah. Did you catch the 2001 Space Odyssey?
Yeah, where the ape men kill the other guy, and
he's
he has
the
like
guy. He has
regular
regular
fingers.
hands.
yeah, he has the last regular hands, and then everyone else is all. They have the freaking hot dog fingers jiggling around. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like this scene a lot.
Yeah.
Jobu Tupaki is a great freaking character.
Yeah, same. So I had a tough time writing favorite scenes
Anymore?
because after this point, I just found myself just being so immersed in the film, and if I had wrote anything else down, I was just going to get distracted, and I didn't want to have to keep pausing and all this stuff and everything and get taken out of the film. So I stopped writing favorite scenes here. But I did continue writing bruh moments when they happened.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
last thing, the
12.
last bruh moment that I had written down was, this is verbatim, the Auditor of the Month award hanging from the butts.
Oh God! Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. The scene where the dude goes, tries to sit on that.
Yeah, and I would say that's one of my favorite scenes too. Like that whole fight as well. And I'm forgetting the context of how it takes place exactly.
She is making her way through the building.
Iris building, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they are. It's all of the
Alphaverse people trying to stop her.
Yes.
Because previously, Alpha Gong Gong, the alpha version of her dad, is telling her,
you have to kill her.
You have to kill your version of Joy, because it will be one less version that she can verse jump to, should she ever decide to.
Yeah.
And
which is a bro moment.
Yeah, because
telling to kill your own daughter.
She almost does too.
Yeah, and she almost decides to, and she gets put in the position of, you either kill your daughter here in this universe for real, because you know of all the complexity of the multiverse thing that's happening right now. Like, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, it's a whole kill one to save many.
Yeah, type thing.
Yeah.
And she previously, Joy was tied up, to a chair, and at this point, she kind of is wondering what's going on. This whole scene is hilarious too, but the whole Rakakuni thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought
I
was
was dying laughing, and she's like, Evelyn is trying to explain the multiverse thing and everything that's happening to her Waymond and her Joy, and she's like, they're like, what the heck is going on? She's like, it's like that movie where the animal is controlling the guy on his hair with the thing, and Rakakuni. And when I first saw this film and I heard that, I was dying laughing, because I knew she was trying to talk about Ratatouille, but it came out as Rakakuni, and I thought it was hilarious.
There's a universe, man.
Yeah, and she's like, Rakakuni, and he's like, so you're telling me there's a raccoon Waymond and a raccoon Joy, and they're controlling us and making us do things?
The universes?
Yeah, and he's like,
goes,
yeah, pretty much. And so they're sitting there laughing about that, having a good old time, and then she gets confronted by Alpha Gong Gong to kill Joy.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't go through with it, and then that kind of pisses off the alpha version of her dad, and is like, if you're not going to do what I say, then we need everyone on my team to take you out,
right?
Because you're just going to be like another casualty,
or
like something in the way.
It's in this moment too where Evelyn starts to think, well, her mind broke. Speaking of Joy's mind, broke. So she became the agent of chaos. Maybe if I go to her level, I'll be able to stop her.
Mm-hmm.
And all the while, he's like, we're going to create two of these people?
Yeah.
But one's bad enough, we can't have two.
Yeah.
So, of course, he's like, send everyone you got in. We have to stop her from doing this, because one is too bad.
Yes.
Two would be catastrophic.
Yeah.
So that's like the whole reason why they're trying to stop her the whole film, and she's going through and she's having to access these different universes where they put the smoke in, so she has to access a universe where she's an opera singer, so she has
increased lung capacity.
Yeah. Similar to how the Matrix, where he's like, download how to drive a helicopter.
Yeah.
Same kind of scenario there.
Yeah.
And I love that scene too, where she has to access these different parts of her where she can be like a sign twirler.
Yeah.
And defend against.
Yeah, use the riot shield like she would the pizza twirling sign, and defend herself with it, and also take people out with it.
It's so cool. Tell me it's not the coolest scene ever.
Yeah, it is very cool.
Yeah. And she ends up getting her way through, and that's when the two guys are who we knew as the security guys now are these alpha guys trying to stop her. Yeah. And the whole crux of it is you have to do something random. Yeah. Something completely random that would have a 0% probability, and they run out of juice, or they get snapped back into their universe where they have no skills. Yes. And they're both try to fight each other. They can't do it. They're just like, yeah. And then they look at something random to do, and then they see one of those trophies. Yeah. And of course, the guy immediately starts taking his pants off, and we know it's implied. Like, we already know what his plan is. Yeah. And we're like, no, he's gonna do that. Yeah. And she realizes. Yeah. So the whole time
she's trying to like move it away from him, and he's trying to grab it and sit on it real quick.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's
has
hilarious.
to snort a fly to get her skills back, and
yeah, I even think before this too, the client, with the dog. Oh, Siri's
trying to get in on the action
with the client with the dog. She even ends up becoming the alpha person and is like using her dog the same way.
Dude, I
was using
immediately
the
wanted
fanny
to
pack.
text you guys about that because a while back, I showed you guys a TikTok of a lady getting hit by a car and her dog wraps around the pole. It's a Chihuahua.
I don't know.
I remember.
I don't remember this.
Sounds bad. I know it sounds bad, but it's really a TikTok. I showed it to you guys, and it reminded me. This girl was reminding me just of her dog whipping her dog. Was like, bro, that's the TikTok. She's about to kill her with this dog.
But it was hilarious too. Like I remember seeing that for the first time and being like, she's about to freaking take her out with her dog, like the fanny pack that Raymond had. Yeah.
It's so nice though.
He's yawning.
Excuse me. It's so nice to see that they use people from early on in the movie,
coming back in.
Coming back because we see that girl in the beginning of the movie, not thinking anything about her. It's just gonna be a side character.
Yeah.
And then becomes a piece of the movie. And I was like, dude, I like this. Like, that's so smart.
She returns.
That's so smart. I loved it.
Yeah. That whole scene where the guys are trying to get the plug.
Insert the plungers.
Yeah, trying to get it in them so that way they can jump to another verse.
That one guy who does it where he like launches himself up and it's all in slow-mo and you see his privates are all blurred out.
I freaking died laughing seeing that, and then you see the shot of him just going
it's so good.
Just landed on the thing. I started dying laughing.
And
then you see him turn and the thing turns green. He just goes.
I hate that they fight and it's still
and that was one thing where I was dying laughing too because I did not think they were gonna keep it stuck up in there. And so he comes back up and he has no pants on and you see this trophy just dangling from his butt.
I hate it. I hate it.
I was dying laughing, and then the whole time they were trying to fight and all this stuff, and then
that's the only thing you could think of is just me. I mean, it sounds bad. I was like, dude, how is it in there still? Like, you're fighting.
It's rough.
Gravity's not your friend in that situation.
No, not at all. Or the shape of the thing is kind of you're pretty much compromised the whole time.
It's a little tapered there.
And then that other guy comes in with like a legit
even bigger one, dude.
like hanging out of his pants. It's just an absurdity.
Yeah.
And yet it all makes sense within the plot rules that we're given. It all makes sense, and it's absurd, but it makes sense. It makes sense, and it's funny, and you've still got tons of stakes. Yes. Because she's got to deal with two of these guys, and yet it's still got that a little bit of that modesty where it's blurred, and you just get there's it's just enough to be funny, and not enough to be like, I'm grossed out and uncomfortable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they do their diligence of being like treading that balance. Yeah. Which I think is perfect, and that's why it was one of the funniest scenes in the film because. It was something so completely unexpected. And then the fact that she disables them by
pulling them out.
Like doing a Power Ranger move, pulling them out sequentially. Yeah. And them losing their powers it's just...
That's their kryptonite.
Yeah.
Something so incredibly unique. And I loved it.
Hilarious.
The scene I wanted to talk about was when, this film is in 3 parts. Yeah. Part 1 is everything. Part 2 is everywhere. And this is when Evelyn starts to release her mind or break out of the chains that she had. And she's starting to become
to break the clay pot.
Right. She's becoming like Jobu Tupaki. And that's exactly what she wanted this whole time. And she's walking her through all of these universes and explaining to her just how meaningless everything is. There's a 1,000,000,001 universes where one thing is different, and we're all just randomly floating atoms, and science has taught us that we are the most smallest little speck of dust in the infinite vastness of the universe. Yeah. And now you want to incorporate not only our infinitely small universe, but now there are millions of the same thing all out there. How can you ever find meaning in something so random and chaotic as that?
Yeah.
So she's a nihilist.
Yes.
Is Joy pretty much?
Yes.
She's been stuck in this position for who knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how time works for a person like this. So she's kind of deciding to end it soon, at least.
She decides she does not want to exist anymore, and that's why she creates the bagel.
The everything bagel.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I loved, just the uniqueness of this film, where she's like, one day I was bored, so I got everything, and I put it in a bagel.
Yeah.
And it's at first I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the heck? What do you mean? And it's a play on words, right? The everything bagel. But when she says, I got everything. Literally everything from every multiverse, and I put it in a bagel. It created this like void,
Like
basically,
a black hole.
where things just get sucked in, and all life, all meaning, everything becomes nothing. Once it's there, and the last thing that I need to do is to find the version of you where you're able to stop me in some capacity and put an end to you before I can like be nothing.
She wanted someone to feel what she was feeling and to see what she sees. I think she just didn't want to be alone.
Okay.
Which is why she wasn't trying to kill all of them. She was trying to find the right one that would be on the same level as her.
Okay. I have the quote if you want to hear it.
Yes.
She says, "I wasn't looking for you so I can kill you. I was looking for someone who could see what I see and feel what I feel."
She just didn't want to be alone in the vastness of nothingness.
Yeah, with all that knowledge.
And it's
see these Lamborghinis? And nothing with these books.
Joy, I don't even know.
You've never seen that?
No.
You see these two Lamborghinis?
Are you talking about? You're talking about here in my garage. That guy Ty Lopez.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You wouldn't be nothing without these books.
Yeah, read a book a day. No, I get you.
Yeah.
No, but the scene I was talking about was when it's part 2, when she's everywhere. She's unlocking her mind, and she's dipping her toes into that nihilistic view. She's kind of starting to see the meaningless of it all, of this scene, and it's when she's like going through these. I think are they fighting each other? And they're going through these like unlimited different universes where one she's the hot dog fingers, the other she's like a piñata. There's another one where she's like she's like written ink on a piece of paper, 2D styled, like cartoonish. There's one where she's in prison. There's like all these multiverses that they're traveling through. Yeah, and I loved seeing the creativity there. And then there's one where it's like she screams, and it's just a picture of Evelyn's face, and then it like jump cuts. I swear to you, it's like 1,000 scenes of her like
in tons of different universes, looking like
either like minuscule different or completely different or all types of randomness. Or
looking like a White Walker from Game of Thrones or like something crazy. Yeah,
I don't know. I loved this scene just because of how creative it was and how like this is what you want from a multiverse movie because they have unlimited creativity.
Yes,
you have to use it, right? And they are. Which I thought was so cool because there are other multiverse movies where I'm just like, like you have unlimited potential and this is what you came up with. Yeah, so boring. Yeah, and this is anything but boring. Yeah, there's so many. They dabble in so many different ideas. Yeah, and it all works for me.
Yeah, definitely.
I put the rock scene.
Oh yeah, the scene, dude.
The scene is wholesome.
The scene made me cry, dude. And this is the scene where I was like, I cannot believe a movie showing me inanimate objects that are not moving and there's no sound being heard,
no dialogue,
is able to make me cry. Like how with just text like being shown on the screen and being like, oh yeah, this is a universe where like life was not inhabitable and like this in this specific version of Earth life does not exist. The world is inhabitable, so everything is just rocks here. And they're like,
be a rock.
Yeah. And she's like, it's kind of peaceful, right? And it's in this universe, like towards the end of the film, where I started like crying because I was like, it's just rocks. Like, why am I? It's like falling. Why am I so attached to these rocks? Like, yeah, it's good. I love it.
Again, super unique and creative. And then I'm at the ending now when they're fighting.
Yes. Yeah, the ending is beautiful. Like
fighting like Wayman, I put.
Yes.
I freaking love this
Yes, I freaking do too. I love the whole monologue with Wayman where he's like,
this is the scene where I started crying.
Yeah, he's like, we need to be kind to one another, even if we don't know what's going on. Like, we just need to be kind, and like, especially when we don't know what's going on. It's important that this happens, and
it's so cool.
Yeah, and it's jumping back into multiple different universes, and it jumps back to the one where
they're not together.
Where they're not together, and they're both successful in their own right. And this was the scene where I freaking like ugly cried, like a baby. And it's specifically shot in this way that's like all the lights are like green looking, and like there's like real slow shutter speed, so like everything is like gone by at this like weird pace, and like everything's blurry except them. And they're talking with one another, and Waymond, I have it down as one of my favorite quotes actually. He says, at the end of the scene, this one specifically, he says, "So even though you may have broken my heart yet again, I wanted to say that in another life, I would have really liked doing laundry and taxes with you." And walks away.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you that even in this universe, where Waymond is extremely successful and has anything he could want in life, he still doesn't have her. And that's something that is worth complaining about. And I started bawling, like thinking about how like this man, all he wants is her. Like he could care less about what his life is, but as long as he's got her by his side, he doesn't care. He's happy. And that was something so beautiful and so touching to me. I started bawling like about it.
I was bawling in the scene when it's pretty much that same scene, maybe just a little bit before it, when he's explaining like why he is the way he is and how he
fights the way he fights.
Right? How he gets through this life, and he explains that. I love it. It's awesome. He explains that like, yes, I'm goofy, yes, I'm silly, but it's not because I'm naive. It's not because I'm weaker. It's not any of that. I'm strategic, and I do this to survive. He literally says like, this is how I fight. I fight the meaningless of the world by creating my own meaning, finding the joy in things, putting googly eyes on random stuff, right? I find meaning, and this is how I survive. I'm not this silly, goofy, doesn't know what he's talking about guy who just doesn't care. No, he's strategic, and he fights. And the whole time I was like, and I'm crying because this is like how it's like something I always strive for. This is like a characteristic where it's like, even if life is just weighing you down so hard, you can still find joy and find meaning
in something,
and be able to pass that on to people you care about most. And like it's almost like you're the light. Even when you can't hold on, you're still having other people hold on to you. And I think it's so profound.
Yeah.
And because they set him up as this like not very, they set the audience up as thinking about him as like this.
He's just a goofball.
He's just like a goofball.
He's a typical like dad on any cartoon or film where he's like, oh shucks.
Yeah.
Like.
But he's really the glue that's like holding the family together.
Yeah.
And it just shows really in this scene. And Evelyn knows. She sees it too. And she starts to decide to fight like him.
Yes.
Because he doesn't want any more violence. He says it's not how to do this. It's not working.
Yeah.
And we've been fighting all day and it's not doing anything.
Yeah. And then it even goes into whenever she goes back on the staircase, that whole fight, where she tells Wayman, he's like, what are you doing? And she says, I'm fighting like you. Oh man, I started tearing up again.
Yeah.
And she starts giving all these people that are coming at her the things that they want in life. Like the guy Rick that comes by and mentions something about his wife's perfume and how Evelyn wears it. She randomly gets to like bring that to him and sniffs it.
Like, he has like a grenade.
Oh,
he's about to throw at her, and she changes it to the perfume.
Yeah, and sprays it, and then he gets this like sense of euphoria, and then is defeated. Yeah, and like the other guy too, like the freaking BDSM guy.
She straight up starts spanking him and gagging him.
Yeah, and he's like, "This is what I wanted."
And even going to Deidre and giving her a hug and telling her that she is lovable.
Yes.
Again, bringing back characters you only thought about surface level.
Yeah.
there's that one guy where she like fixes his neck or something.
Yeah.
Like she goes and he looks at her like she's all good. And
Yeah.
gosh, there's so many other people. And the part that really like got me to ugly cry was when she finally got to the, like she was almost to Joy and she had to go through her dad.
Yes.
And
he's holding her.
Yeah.
He's holding her back.
Yeah.
The entire time, and that's you know, physically, but also mentally and emotionally. Like he is the blocker, right? The barricade that is prohibiting her getting a further relationship with her daughter, or you know, he's the road stopper, the whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And she, you know, not only defeats him like physically in this universe, but also stands up to him in the real universe and is like, hey, listen, this is my daughter. This is who she is. This is her girlfriend. And you need to learn how to accept that, basically. And in our universe, the real universe, Dad is kind of like shocked by that and is like, oh, okay. That's
kind of,
it's your girlfriend. Wow. Okay.
Rolls through it. But
yeah. And then even in the physical universe, you know, he kind of goes through the same thing.
She says like, why did you let me leave so easily?
Yeah.
And she explains like, I can never be like you. I can never give up on my daughter like you gave up on me. And it's so profoundly sad. And it's something that drives her to not give up on Joy. And I think that's one of the main reasons why she doesn't succumb to the everything bagel. Yeah. Because she does go in it, but like in one universe she's going in it, but in another she's just having a conversation with her mom as she's leaving in our quote unquote real universe. Yeah. Where she's explaining like, when we're together, all we do is hurt each other. Like, it's just so much better for me to leave. And it's like supposed to be a symbol for not alive, like being unalive. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then we get to see the scene of like the rocks kind of falling down. Yeah. But of course, Evelyn's there chasing after her, not letting her leave. And she goes into explain like, you think that nothing is meaningless? Well, you're right. Nothing is meaningless. And yet you still went all this way to find me. And I could be literally anywhere. I could be a trillion universes away from you, and yet here I am with you. I am choosing you. Yeah. Because this has meaning, what we feel for each other. Yeah. And, you know, even though it's small and limited, I will cherish every minute I get with you. And I
was crying there too.
Oh, I was crying because the acting that you get from both of them in this scene is so intimate. And it's so subtle, and you get like these very real characteristics of like, Joy goes like, "Why would you want all of this?" And she's crying and sad, but she like laughs through it. Yeah, and it feels so genuinely real. Yeah, because that's what people do sometimes. Yeah, like they laugh through their tears because there's no
no way to cope with it.
It's hard to express emotion like that, and I don't know. To say, I never thought I'd feel this way. Yeah. And I freaking cried because there's like 4 universes going on that all are having so much impact on my freaking mind. And I'm just like, yeah. I was crying so hard. Because it's like, you're right. Everything is meaningless. And yet, create meaning. Yeah. Like, we are creating our own meaning here. And this means something. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Beautiful. That also gets into like the end of the film where, you know, they go back to the IRS, they're doing their taxes, and at this point, Joy and Evelyn are the only ones that can be everything, everywhere, all at once. And they still are deciding to, like, go through with it day to day. Joy has found meaning somewhere. Evelyn has found meaning somewhere. And, you know, it kind of reminds me of that quote or that scene from Fight Club, where in Fight Club where they act like they're robbing the guy. They said like, "You're gonna die," and then he's like, "No, I'm not gonna." Like, what did you want to do when you grow up? And he's like, "Oh, I wanted to go to college and be a veterinarian or something like that." And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna come back here, and in 6 weeks, if you're not a veterinarian, you're gonna die. I'm keeping your wallet and everything like that. Go do what you need to go do." And the whole monologue at the end where he's like, "Tomorrow, that guy's breakfast is gonna be the best breakfast he's ever tasted. He's going to get the best sleep of his life. He's going to have a whole new outlook on life because of what we just did for him." And I kind of think about that for them in this instance where, like, they have this whole new outlook on life, this whole new take where they're like, I, have this whole new meaning that I've just found for my life and what it could be and what I want it to be and what I'm going to be alive for. And now I'm not going to let any day pass where I don't take advantage of that. And I loved it. Yeah. It's a great film.
Great film. Good message.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it, right?
I believe so.
All right.
Let's get into some best quotes.
Yeah, we went through a couple. I have one. Evelyn is trying to approach her daughter, and she's acting like she's going to say something really profound and like trying to empathize with her, and she goes, "You have to try to eat healthier. You are getting fat." And I'm like, "Oh,
roasting her, dude."
Not what to say right now.
Yeah.
I thought in that scene she was gonna say something super like touching.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
So we said one of mine, which was Jobu Tupaki's. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Jobu Tupaki.
Jobu Tupaki said, and then my second one and last one is by Wayman. He said, "The only thing I know is that we have to be kind. Please be kind, especially for when we don't know what's going on."
Mm.
Yeah. I have one from Evelyn, and it's whenever she gets introduced to the multiverse, and she's like, "I can't listen to what you're saying. I need to do my taxes." And then she says, "What is gross necklaces?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's like, "You use all these big words.
Yeah.
We don't understand."
Yeah.
I have one where Wayman is giving her exposition of her universe and why she's so special. He literally tells her, "You're living your worst you." Yeah. He's like, "You have so many hobbies that you never took, so many passions that died out. You are every wrong decision."
Yeah.
So you have unlimited potential to do anything right.
Yeah. You're quite literally like
the worst,
the failure.
Yeah.
and that only means that because you failed at everything, you could possibly be good at something. So let's try it.
Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah. Another one I have too is a character from the Alphaverse questions Alpha Waymond, and whenever she's gonna jump, she's like, she could never make that jump. A jump like that would fry her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alpha Waymond says, the person says, "A jump like that would fry most people." And then Alpha Waymond interjects with, "She's not most people."
Mm.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Do we have any more here?
I have another one too from Waymond, the successful version of Waymond, where he says something to the effect of, "He who loves the most regrets the most."
Mm.
And that hit home.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, you can tell that this guy, like, truly in this universe loved as much as he possibly could and only got the crap in for it, but is better out because of her not being in his life.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yeah.
Yeah, he goes on to say in another quote, "You tell me it's a cruel world and we're all running around in circles. I know that. I've been on this earth just as many days as you." I was like, this guy knows what's up.
Yeah.
He's not this stupid, naive character. He's great.
Yeah.
He knows.
Exactly.
I loved it.
Yeah. That's it for the best quotes that we've hit all the other ones that we've talked about previously. So let's get into some bro moments.
Some stuff we haven't talked about yet. Do you have
I have
more?
some. The first one was, and it's not really a bro moment, but it was a big bro moment for me, was the divorce papers and acting like he was okay with waiting.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big bro moment for me because obviously that's something that needs to be addressed soon. I don't think you should, if you feel like you have to get divorced, you got to do it right then and there. Like, don't prolong it. That's something you don't want to prolong. And I seen him just act like it's okay to talk later hurt me. I was like, bruh, like, you're he was tired at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't want to do it anymore. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
No way.
I put the paper cuts in between the fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Bruh.
That's rough.
I can't.
That scene was making me cringe, bro.
Would you give yourself a paper cut?
Yes. To fight against the freaking wrestler form of Deidre? Heck yeah, I would.
Yeah.
But I like how it shows it too, where he does it and blood splatters onto the camera. It's like, that's cool.
One that we haven't spoken about, I mean, we talked about it, but I wrote it down as a bro moment, was Jobu Tupaki being Joy.
Yeah.
And the reveal whenever we find out, like, through that whole like scene and seeing that, like, oh crap, the person that's trying to kill her or take her out is her own daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in another universe. It's crazy.
Yep.
One that I wrote down was seeing the Red Room.
Oh, yeah. The BDSM room.
Yep, that was a little. Oh, and she pressed the button.
The bro moment for me in that scene is that the guy that comes out of that room is one of the directors, Daniel Scheinert.
I did not know that.
Do you think he actually likes that?
Probably not.
I don't know.
I think it's a character probably he's playing, but
my next one, Alpha Women getting his back broken.
Dude.
oh yeah,
When he's straight up, she grabs him and breaks his back.
Puts
dude.
the exit sign behind it. Yeah,
Crazy.
The last one is seeing Wendy vape at the end.
Oh yeah.
oh
She's like, I feel like a teenager
yeah.
when she's doing it. What about the fake out ending? Did it get you guys?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, dude. That when I watched it the first time, I was like, "That's the end? No freaking way! That's the end."
Oh wait, when it goes to 2 parts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I get you.
It like put the credits.
yeah.
and you're
Just like a
sitting there
film
like,
from Daniels, and she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's such a morbid ending. Like she just dies, and like that's it." And then it kind of screens, show the screen kind of zooms out, and it's the multiverse where she is the movie star. And we were supposed to be watching the movie that she's taking place in that universe. And I was just like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, no freaking what? No, this can't be the end. Are you serious? There's so much more to be said. Yeah.
and then the Rakakuni.
Yeah.
Rakakuni is
I
When
love
she
it.
gets on him,
I love Rakakuni, man.
and takes him over.
Yeah.
And then he gets on her and takes her over.
Yeah.
Was dying laughing, man.
Yeah, me too. I was dying laughing whenever he is on her, like controlling her, and she throws him.
Yeah.
And he's like flying to get to him, and you see Rakakuni just going, like it's also so funny whenever she goes in that universe and sees that it's him controlling him, and it's like so obviously a puppet.
It's so obviously like
You see him-
animatronic.
You see him being like, "Oh, we've been caught! Like,
gotta get her.
We gotta get her! Get her out of here!" Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah. That's all I've got though.
Okay, if that's it for the bro moments, let's talk about some facts.
Ooh.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought this movie was going to cost a lot way more to make. And to make this movie, it only took about $25 million to make it. Opening weekend, it made $501,000. Gross for U.S. and Canada made $70,000. And gross for worldwide made $103.3 million.
Okay. Good. It made its money worldwide, but
Opening weekend, it made
$501,000.
Oh, 501,000?
Did I say $1?
You said $501 at first.
Oh,
I
no,
think.
$501,000.
no, yeah, 1,000.
That's why I was like, if you didn't see me, I would,
$501. That's like maybe 3 theaters.
yes, and that's why I got shocked because I was like,
Yeah,
No.
$501,000, $305,000.
okay, yeah,
To be
insane.
This is gonna be an Oscar winner, right?
I hope so.
It has to be.
It's
If it
gonna
doesn't-
be,
if it
right?
doesn't get,
If
if it doesn't
not
get nods,
nominated,
we riot.
We are gonna be
If not
upset.
nominated, it has to win at least 3 or 4.
I mean, if it doesn't, I just don't see what's better, really.
It's a shoe-in for best picture. It's a shoe-in for best directing,
best editing,
best writing,
best sound design,
performances,
best for sure.
like it's
Yeah,
better
that's what
be
I'm
a
saying.
sweeper.
It doesn't have more than 3 noms.
something's wrong.
Something's rigged.
Yeah, something's rigged for sure.
Because there wasn't that many good movies that came out this year.
A lot of people are talking about that movie Tar.
Tar.
I have seen
Yeah.
some reviews. I have not seen anything about the movie though.
Not Target, dude. I just put Tar in my freaking thing and took me to
It's with
Target.com.
Kate Blanchett. In regards to the editing of the film we just spoke about, this was something that blew my mind, and it was insanely inspiring to me. All the visual effects done for this film were done by a team of 9 people, including the 2 directors themselves, with the majority of the shots being done by a core group of 5 people. So 5 people did a majority of all the cinematography, and then 4 other people would be included in that group of 5 to do the editing, along with the directors. None of the visual effects team went to school for visual effects.
What?
And they were all friends who taught themselves with tutorials they found online for free.
Bro. I mean,
Everything is possible.
What's more inspiring than that?
Insanely inspiring to me to think that like these guys didn't get any of the like, insider secrets or secrets from the industry or anything like that. They literally were just like, we're going to look up tutorials on YouTube and try to figure it out. And they made an insanely good-looking movie.
Seriously.
The visual effects are awesome here.
They're incredible, what they're able to achieve here, and it make it look so realistic. I thought it was great to hear that there was only 5 people is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. For real. No, it's really insane.
Speaking of VFX, the dog mom swings her dog around by a leash, but it's she literally is doing it. It's in camera, but it's a stuffed animal. It's not a real dog.
Yeah.
It would have been funny if it was.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
A little
Be
bit
wild.
a little bit, man.
Imagine
But
someone doing that to
doesn't she
Remy.
punt that thing too?
Yeah, she
Yes.
goes boom to kick it and starts it
Oh,
up.
it'd be funny, but then it'd get canceled.
Yeah.
For
sure.
So the cover of the book that Jobu. You good?
I've got some
He's
flip
becoming-
going on.
he's
Oh, I
becoming
thought you were
Alpha
like-
Nick.
Yeah, I was like, I put an umbrella. No.
The cover that you made me lose track. The cover of the book that Jobu Tupaki shows Evelyn is meant to invoke Dr. Seuss's book, All the Places You'll Go, while the interior art is in style of the graphic memoir Persepolis, the story of a childhood by Marjane Sartapi, which I thought was pretty cool because it's just like ironic, all the places you'll go, and she doesn't know the potential she has with all these multiverses.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. I have a universe that they didn't use, which I thought was unique and funny. There was a universe that was not used in where Evelyn is a piece of sentient spaghetti being cooked in a pot. She has a son who is a piece of elbow macaroni eager to be the one thrown against the wall as a test of sticky doneness. As this will show, he has become a man.
That's
It's
funny.
just like, what the
Bro,
hell?
what?
That's funny.
I wish I would have seen that.
Yeah. I caught on to one where Evelyn was the urn
Yeah.
screaming.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's pretty funny too. I have another fact here actually about the making of the film. So the impressive high-speed shot where Evelyn's getting sucked into the janitor's closet is actually all done in camera.
Whoa.
It's not effects. The effect that is given to that shot is actually achieved by dramatically lowering the camera's frame rate and then having Michelle Yeoh act in slow motion as she's being pushed toward the closet. So when the film is played back at regular speed, it appears exactly as it does in the film.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting way to show that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One thing, you had mentioned that you see things from The Matrix. So I read a fact about that in one of the scenes where Evelyn is being chased by Deirdre, is that how you say it?
Deidre.
Deidre, she moves from one cubicle to the other while squatting down on the phone. The scene that is almost exactly as the same is the scene from The Matrix where Neo is hiding from the agents in his office building.
Ah.
Oh, it really does.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
trying to like get out.
Call,
And be,
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I had a fact actually in regards to the bagel and the googly eyes.
I have one towards the
Yes.
googly eyes too.
Yes, I love
And
this.
if you think about it, actually, the way that the bagel is presented is like it's this black ominous thing with the white circle in the middle,
Mhm.
right? So it's like this like absence of color with this little tiny like
Light.
light right there.
Yeah.
And then the googly eye, if you think about the way that that's portrayed as well, is this big absence of color in the middle and then the light surrounding it. So you can kind of think about it as like the bagel consuming all the light, right? Like it's consuming everything that's in the middle before it's become a black hole. And the googly eye is the light
It's the opposite.
consuming the darkness.
Yeah,
Right?
and that's why Wayman is so.
That's why Wayman is so, persistent about using the googly eyes because he believes that is what brings joy. That's the lightness consuming the darkness throughout everything. So him putting the googly eyes on everything is him trying to lighten life.
And that's the way why she decides to put
Put it on her head.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
other ones have
she-
just a black circle,
Yeah.
and now she's got that inverse of the light going
Exactly. She accepts Wayman's version of that, and it's what gives her the almost like the strength to give all the people that are fighting her in the Alphaverse the things that they love.
out. Right.
So
Love
See,
that.
my Google Eye fact is not even as good as yours now.
Why is that? What do you have?
So on the Letterboxd page of the film, a small Easter egg can be found. If you click the watched button, which is usually shaped like an eye, it turns into a googly eye.
Yes, it does.
That's cool.
I did it right now, or I did it earlier, and I said, "That's so cool."
It actually does it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah, look, I'll pull it up right now.
Oh, all right, I'm watching. Oh, it is. It's a little googly eye.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. I have a fact that the title is a little bit different. It has different meanings in Chinese-speaking markets. So in the mainland China, the title gets translated to, in an instant, the entire universe. Okay, in Hong Kong, the title is a play on words, which can be translated as Mystical Woman Warrior Saves the Universe and Mystical Woman Universe F's up the universe. So it's a play on words there. In Taiwan, it's another play on words saying Mom's Multiple Universes or So Effing Many Universes. And the Chinese title, as seen in the movie title card and poster, is an idiom that roughly means wild and unrestrained imagination.
Definitely all applies.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that it's not necessarily the same
Yeah.
everything everywhere all at once. It's
Yeah.
got different meanings, different places.
My last one actually is in regards to the scenes where we're shown the rocks. And on the day they shot the scenes with those rocks, the weather was 118 outside. It was so hot that director Daniel Scheinert's shoes were melting.
Oh, get out of there, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The chapstick Wayman ate was a prop made of chocolate.
Yeah, that scene made me cringe, dude. When I seen him eat that, I was like, oh, I can only
still
imagine that tasted
understand.
nasty.
Yeah.
It's all waxy.
I also immediately thought of I don't know if you guys walked in Practical Jokers, but Sal Volcano eats a thing of deodorant.
Like in a crowd or something?
He's like in a focus group and he just pulls it out and eats it like a snack, and that's immediately what I thought of. And I just think about the face that he makes because it's like, and I think about eating chapstick, which I feel like is the same texture as deodorant sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Like
when
this, like,
I put
waxy,
it on, I'm
nasty.
just like, oh, like this is gross. I hate wearing chapstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it for me, though.
Okay, same here. What didn't work?
I didn't write down things for myself. I wrote down the things my other noticed. Usually I would complain about these things, but I felt like I did pretty good. Is there's a lot of stuff happening. People just might be like overthrown with it. And I liked that it was like a lot of stuff happening, which is kind of weird because it just made the movie more interesting. I feel like if you notice something different, you'll notice something different at a different time, or I don't know if that makes sense. So I just feel like people might get confused in this movie.
Okay.
I necessarily didn't get scared, nervous, but I think some people. Why am I saying nervous?
I don't know.
I didn't necessarily get lost, but I feel like people might get lost.
Okay.
I guess you guys are just making me nervous.
I don't know.
I thought it was pretty easy to follow along.
I thought it was.
Yeah. I guess it could be different for everybody.
Yeah,
Viewing movies are subjective.
It requires you to be engaged. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't really like just watch it to watch it. Like
Exactly.
Fast and Furious or Mission
Yeah.
Impossible. You kind of have to be
Yeah.
engaged in connecting with the characters and trying to pay attention to the intricacies of each character, and you can't really just
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
has
not a
to be
movie you just
it's
throw
a-
it on the background. I mean,
No,
it can
that's
be for some funniness, but you're not going to get that deep connection with the characters that this movie I feel like requires.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a coworker actually that talked to me about this movie, and he tried telling what the movie is about to my boss.
Oh no, was it
And
adequate or was
no,
it just
yeah,
like,
it was a great explanation.
oh, okay, good. I thought it was going
And-
to be like,
No, and my boss was like, "That sounds dumb," and I I immediately was like, "You don't understand. Like this movie is awesome. It's
Yeah.
great. You should really check it out. I'll loan it to you if you want. Like you can check it out." And she was like, "I don't know. That sounds stupid." And then I immediately was like, "I guess what do I expect? You're the type of person that is gonna like Fast and the Furious 19, and it would be like." I watched Born Again or Born a Star, and I loved it. It was great. That's my favorite movie of all time. Like, I just don't. Sometimes I'm like, this is a great movie, and I'll recommend it to people who I really think will enjoy it. But I'm cautious to, like, I think if you're going to recommend it to somebody, you need to know your audience. And if you're recommending it to some mom who is, usually loving Hallmark movies, maybe they're not gonna like
they're not
this
gonna.
one.
Yeah,
No, this is a movie for sure they wouldn't watch.
Yeah,
it's so hard though, because I don't want to say like it does require something of you. It's not
exactly. And that's why I'm saying know your audience.
Yeah.
When doing it. Because if you're going to talk to somebody about this movie and they're the type of movie watcher where they're like,
that's not going to work.
No, you need to be fully attentive and understanding what the movie's presenting you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into what did work.
I have nothing else.
I have nothing
I don't
that
have
didn't
nothing.
work.
Everything
worked
like,
for me.
I don't want to say it's perfect because there's probably flaws out there I just don't see and I don't really care much about. But man, is it great. I can't think of a single thing that detracted me from the movie.
Yeah.
A single thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to what did work.
Yeah.
Immediately I'm going to start off. The editing, I think, is just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The editing here is so smooth. It's so unique. It's so buttery. It's so like
I love the play with different aspect ratios.
Yes, where it'll go and then you see the black bars kind of slowly, crunching your zoom, crunching your view. Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the great cinematography where you see Wayman is talking, but it's positioned with Evelyn in the middle, but then you see a mirror, a small little circular mirror where Wayman is off camera, but you see his face in the camera or in the little mirror. And they do that all the time with these like super incredible camera work shots. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love.
I'm just saying, like
the cinematography is gorgeous, and I think there's so many interesting shots and so many interesting and unique uses of the camera. Like I think specifically of that shot where the camera follows the bag whenever the first fight is happening.
Right.
Like I would never in a million years think to have the bag track, the camera track the bag as it's flying around and all this stuff, and using all the, frame within a frame type shots and all this stuff, and putting things inside a frame. Like thinking like whenever I first watched this film, I didn't know anything about all of the circles that are throughout the film. And then on a rewatch, I noticed there were so many circles throughout the film. And these circles are supposed to, represent the bagel, right?
Well, you even think about the work that they're in. They're literally staring at washing machines.
Yeah.
Circles going around
and
around and around. Meaningless.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. And like seeing these things get so meticulously put into frame and, shown in a way that is so meaningful just on its own is amazing.
Yeah. Definitely agree.
Yeah. Also, writing is incredible.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
It is incredible.
It's airtight, man.
Yes.
I freaking loved it.
On a rewatch, you really sympathize with every character. Joy, she's a person that's lost hope and feels that there's no meaning in life. Mm-hmm. Evelyn continues to play the what if game and never really got to live the life that she wants. Waymond tries to show people kindness and love, but doesn't ever receive any of that himself. Like there's so many things to pick up with these characters and to identify with that make you love them from jump. And then by the end of the film, you feel like you've grown with them. Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
Yeah, and just the way that they present their characters too, I think is great. The acting is spot on, exactly what they need to show in regards to emotion, regards to the delivery of the lines. I just think, like it's so incredibly difficult. They had to play several characters, and they're the same character. And yet there's two distinctly different ways that you can play them. Yes. Like I'm thinking of Wayman and Alpha Wayman. Mm-hmm. You immediately can tell a distinct difference between the two.
Yes.
And yet it's the same person.
Yep.
How hard is that?
Yeah.
I think is tremendously difficult, and yet he plays it perfectly.
Yeah. Ke-Huy Quan and Michelle Yeoh are excellent in this film. I love any time that they're on screen. They absolutely kill it. If they don't get Oscar nods, it's a crime. They are awesome in this film. Yeah. I also want to say too, in regards to the writing, the thought and amount of time that had to have gone into this story and the lore behind everything is incredible. It's awesome, and it just feels like someone really cared, and someone like truly took time to really flesh out all these ideas and understand the complexities of what a multiverse movie can be and how to really take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I also gotta say, this is genuinely, I think, one of the most unique films I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I hear the argument that people, oh, Hollywood has no new ideas, everything's a remake of a remake of a remake, and I watch a film like this, I immediately want to take that person's face and scream into it and be like, "Look at that!" Like, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
If you want movies like this, you gotta support them.
Yeah.
And if you don't, guess what you get? Fast and Furious 57. Like, there's
57.
Like there.
We always smash on this franchise. It's so funny.
But it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
Or you get another Marvel movie. Like, there's
No offense, Marvel is dead now.
People will fire you for that.
I have not watched anything after Endgame.
I have not liked Phase 4.
me either.
Not nearly as much as the
And
ever since
Going back-
Spider-Man No Way Home, I haven't watched.
Going
a
back to
single
what
film.
Isaiah says, it's 100% true, and it's almost like what Bong Joon-ho says. There's so much more movies out there than just one language, but now this is a different, like, you can't even put this in a category.
I wouldn't even say this is a foreign film. Like,
No.
this is just
Not
this
even
is-
a foreign film. I'm
this
just
is
saying, like,
this is a film that just has foreign language in it.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, what would you put this? What category would you put this in? There's no category
Yeah,
for it.
there's no category.
Yeah, I was thinking of the situation where, Rasputin worker gets the DVD, and if you don't know, they have them like set up like drama. Thriller, action.
Where would you put it?
Yeah, I'd be like,
It could be all this.
yeah, I'd be
That's
like,
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
freaking know.
And a lot of people, so to say, who like those Fast and Furious movies and the Transformers movies and all
Yeah.
those, only want to stick to the one thing they know.
True.
Yeah,
So
and
if people complain, like Isaiah said, there's movies like this out there.
There are.
that's the
and they're
thing is you gotta
afraid
put
to
in,
go out there.
you gotta put in the work to find them.
It does take.
And then it's amazing when you find the movies that you're looking for. It's rewarding.
Mhm.
And you get movies experiences like this, and you're able to watch something and have it have a profound impact on you, and then want to go tell your friends
Yeah.
and be like, dude, I watched this thing, it changed me.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out, it's awesome. And then they go do it, then you get to have this amazing conversation with one another, and you get to bond on this other level. Like, it's awesome. I don't see anybody doing that with the kissing booth. Like, like there's no way that's happening there.
What are they on, like Kissing Booth 5?
Something, I have no clue. Again, I also love the score to this film.
Dude, that's something that I like too.
Score it's literally what drives the emotion.
Yes.
Like, this is.
That's what a score's supposed to do, I
It
feel
does. Like, if the score wasn't there, I probably wouldn't have cried, if
Oh,
I'm being
yeah.
completely honest.
Mhm.
But the score is like this. It's like this angelic kind of choiry, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's this like emotion-filled music.
Yeah.
I loved it.
The score did what it was supposed to do and more.
Yeah, made me cry for sure.
Yeah. Lastly, I'll say the fight choreography is
Dude.
amazing.
It's insane.
Yeah. There's rare a time where I am able to throw that in there for what did work in
Yeah.
a film. And yeah, it's awesome in this movie. You could definitely tell that Kai Hua, why am I blanking how to pronounce his name now? Kai Hua Kwan.
Mhm.
He's a guy that, he only got to act like for a little bit as a kid. And that's another moment for me,
'Cause
finding
I think
out.
it was like 20 years, right?
Yeah, finding out that this guy plays Data in The Goonies.
Yep.
One of the most classic movies of all time, one of the most iconic movies ever. And then plays Short Round in Temple of Doom, which the Indiana Jones movie that is my favorite. Like, I loved Short Round as a kid, loved Data, and I never saw anything from him, and I never thought anything about it ever again.
Yeah.
But I come to find out
He
that
was
this
out
guy,
for like 2 decades, wasn't he?
yeah, this is the first movie he's made in 20 years.
Dude, imagine like being completely slept on and then coming back to the banger of a
Yeah.
movie this is.
Now that's the thing, is like every movie that this guy's associated with it is a classic.
He's in Encino Man.
He's probably like a small character.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
he's
just-
not a lead. He's in
Yeah.
Short Round. As Short Round, he is like, he's not the lead character, but he's supporting, right? Same thing with Data and the Goonies. Like, he's
That's
awesome.
insane.
I love him, and I also was reading too that he did a lot of like, because he didn't do a lot of acting, he did a lot of like action fight sequences and fight coordinating and everything like that for a lot of different films. He did that movie, fight coordinating for that movie called The One.
No way, with Jet Li?
Yeah, all the fights are coordinated by him.
What? I used to watch that movie so much.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I would only assume that he also did the fight choreography here, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else that worked? Or we hit everything?
I think you hit everything all at once.
I've guessed plenty.
Oh.
Hit everything all at once. Who wins this movie?
For me, K.
Kwan.
Yeah.
Ke Huy Quan?
Yeah, Ke Huy Quan. He as Wayman. I mean, he's the one I identified
love
with
him.
the most.
Yeah. I love him.
Yeah.
It's a toss up between him or Michelle Hui.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh. Like it's both of their films. Like when I think of this movie, I'm gonna think of the two of them, and that's just a testament to the great acting and writing in this film, and just how solidified these characters are.
Yeah, I want to like emulate Wayman in my life.
In your
life.
I
literally want to be a man who like just trudges through the dirt and still is able to put silly smiley faces and be present and be laughing and be just joyful all the time. Like that's why I love him so much in this film, because I was like, I want that. Like I want to try to be as close to that as I can be.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I just finished Ted Lasso, and I feel that way with Ted Lasso. And wanted to be like, regardless of all the crap this guy goes through, he's still able to like make everyone smile and say these like crappy one-liners and make everyone laugh, and it makes me smile. I wish I could freaking do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like constantly sacrificing.
Camera died.
That's what you get for a great movie, man.
Yeah. We're just about at the end.
Yeah, we're about it. Yeah, we're about that.
What are some themes here?
Be kind even when you don't know what's going on.
That's literally my number one.
Yeah.
Literally be kind when you don't know what.
Yeah. My first one I'd written down was, regardless of every outcome, it's important that we try.
Yeah. Important that we try.
Yes. Don't call me out like that.
Well, I'm just saying, you've got your...
You got your tat.
Yes, I do have a tattoo that says try.
There you
As
go.
a reminder, even if you're going through a crappy day, you got to try. I look at it every day.
It's a really good reminder.
Yep. My other one is, there's always potential for growth and meaning.
Yeah. Always.
That's a good one.
Always.
Even when you think you reach the cap, there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to keep on going. Keep on trucking.
Yeah. The beauty of finding your own meaning.
Yep.
It's good.
In the wise words of Joe Dirt, life's a garden. Dig it.
Yeah.
I've never seen Joe Dirt. That's funny.
Joe Dirt's a whole... That's my childhood.
Any other themes here?
No,
No,
that's
I
it.
think you hit
All
it
right.
all.
What are we rating this? This is a 10 for me.
Yeah, it's a 10 for me, too. Easiest 10 I've given out.
I give it a 9.
Okay.
Not my favorite, but it's a good movie. It's a great movie.
Fair.
Yeah.
Definitely fair.
All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking all the way to the end. If you did, we appreciate you. As always, leave us a like and a comment, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've been seeing some growth in the subscriber number lately, which is awesome.
Very encouraging.
We really are encouraged by that, and we love each and every one of you guys that are subscribed and liking the videos, watching us, leaving comments and stuff. It really does help us out, and again, it encourages us to let us know that people are liking what we're doing. If you do like what we're doing, again, like the videos, comment. If you don't, let us know that way as well. You could leave us comments or something, or if you listened on the audio platforms, rate and review the shows. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know that, if there's anything that we could possibly be doing that could make the show better. There's always, again, potential for growth and meaning in the show as well. So we want to make this the best thing that it can possibly be with what we've got. So if there's any room for growth that you can see that we cannot see, tell us, and we'll try to make a change here and make this thing the best thing.
For sure.
Get in contact with us either through our Instagram or Letterboxd or our emails. You can find all of those methods of contact in our episode descriptions. Everyone will have those links there, so that way you can get in contact with this little community that we have of film lovers. And we appreciate you. But other than that, I think we're going to dive into what our next film is going to be, which is going to be Abe's pick.
It is my pick. And I'm actually very excited to watch this movie because I haven't seen it in almost 2 years. Actually, no, I lied. Last Christmas. I watched last Christmas.
We're going to be starting the Christmas movies.
We are starting the Christmas movies. And I'd like to think this is a Christmas movie. I don't think a lot of people do. Just same with like Die Hard. People think it's a Christmas movie. I don't think it's a Christmas movie. But I think this is a Christmas movie in my opinion. And it's the movie Little Woman.
Okay, which version?
The new version. The 2019 version.
Okay, the Greta Gerwig one.
Greta Gerwig, yes.
Greta Gerwig is the director.
And writer. Yeah.
Nice.
It is based. So I actually watched this movie Christmas of 2019 when it came out.
Okay.
And I loved it. I cried in theaters. I never cried in theaters before this. And it actually encouraged me to read the book because I didn't know it was from a book. And then I would talk about it, and I was like, and the person I was seeing at the moment parent was like, "Oh, there's a book. You want to read it?" And I read the book, and I've read the book 3 times.
Oh wow!
Ever since, and yeah, I am ready for you guys to watch it.
I've seen it once before. I watched it in theaters.
Me too.
And I remember enjoying it. It was beautiful. I remember it being absolutely beautiful, and just I remember the insanely stacked cast. Literally Florence Pugh, Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan,
Timothy Chalamet,
Laura Dern, Timothy Chalamet, freaking my man Bob Odenkirk, my man, he's in it. I'm ready to join back in. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know how I
Meryl
felt.
Streep.
I remember liking it, so I hope it lives back up to what I remember.
I'm excited. I am
too.
One of my favorite movies.
All right. So, is it streaming anywhere?
It is not. I don't think so.
I'm borrowing it.
I do own it, so you guys can borrow it.
Alexa bought it digitally on my Apple TV. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So I've got it there. So I'll be streaming it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the film, check it out, rent it, possibly pick it up if it's cheap somewhere or something like that, or if it's intriguing you, and check it out and see what we have to say about that film. As always, this has been the Film Bros Podcast. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.